What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. Lakeisha McKnight is here. Welcome to the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. Like I said, we were going to do a video version of this as well, but we're primarily audio. And we'll definitely get back to video, guys. But I just felt like I wanted to just do audio tonight. We had a lot going on today, good things going on today. And so we will resume with video coupled with the audio on tomorrow. But I want to welcome everybody here to the Leadership TKO Live night show, audio style. Okay, audio style. And so we're going to get into some of the main topic at hand. I have a lot of points I want to share with you tonight. But what I am going to do is start a watch party in a very special group. And so let me go ahead and get this thing started here in a group that is comprised of women. Okay, so I'm going to start it up and I'm going to make sure that the audio is pretty good as well. Always like to check that because sometimes there could be a little bit of a glitch, we know, with technology not being 100% reliable. And so we're going to make sure that, the audio is pretty good here. So feel free, okay, to do a number of things. And I'm going to share with you how to really truly get involved. I have a very special topic in mind simply because of some news that
pretty good as well.
we
Always
all
like to check
have
that because
obtained. If you haven't gotten the news, I'm going to share just a tad bit. I'm not going to dwell on it too long, but just a tad bit tonight. And let me greet the ladies in this group. Good evening, ladies. And so welcome aboard for those of you who are in the group as well. So we're live on my timeline, groups, fan pages. We're live on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, as well as the LeadershipTKOStation.com's website. This is the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. We do this show every single night around 9 o'clock normally, okay? Normally around 9 o'clock. A part of an extension of my team, we have training going on tonight that started at 9 o'clock. And so I did not want to do too much of an overlap, but I didn't want it to be too late either. So that's why we're here at this particular time, which is 10 o'clock or 10:04 to be exact. And so there are a couple of ways for you to get involved here because our goal really is to empower you with the ability to win from the inside out, growing your influence, your impact, and your income. And if you believe that leadership is essential for your growth as an entrepreneur or as a mom or as a father, whatever your roles are in life or business, I want you to go ahead and love this stream that you're tuning into right now. Hit the love button. We do also have the comments feature, so we can interact live with one another. So if you have a question, a comment, some words of encouragement, go ahead and share that in the comment section. And then we also have that share button. Let me tell you, that share button would enable us to reach more people together as a team, right? Together. And so hit the share button, do your own watch party, because I believe that it definitely can help out in a bigger way. So the topic matter tonight is really near and dear. And the reason being is many of you probably heard of the unfortunate passing of the legend, Mr. Kobe Bryant. You've heard about that tragic situation, and even, of course, his daughter. And so I just want to pause for a moment, a moment of silence, just to pay respect to his family and, of course, to his life. All right. So just that moment of silence in respect and in just in honor of, the great things that he was able to accomplish within his career and his life. And just, of course, sending your condolences to his family. Very, very important to do. But we understand, Mr. Bryant to have accomplished a lot. And to many people, he was truly a legend. So then the question then becomes, is that something that you desire to leave behind? Do you want to be a legend in the making or a legend? Do you want to be legendary? And so I'm going to share a couple of points tonight that I've just really gleaned. And it's not just from Mr. Kobe Bryant's life, but from the lives of many greats out there, many individuals who have passed on, but who have left important marks in life, for people just to reflect upon so that we can continue on with our journey and carry out our purposes. And so how to become a legend? How do you become a legend? You see, we all have roles to play in life. The question is, what is yours? Will you be remembered for it years from now, when you're long gone? You see, a legend is someone who leaves behind an unforgettable impression on others. They touch lives, they're remembered, they're cherished. There are all sorts of legends in this world, famous or not. Becoming one means finding your particular role, your calling, following it, and touching others around you. And so I want to really talk about this first point, the first point in how to become a legend, finding a calling. Okay, finding a calling. You want to do that. That's the overall part, title that I really want to give this section here that I'm going to discuss. Finding a calling, but there are several steps that you need to keep in mind in order to really find your calling. Here is really step number 1. Identify your talents. You see, people remember legends for what they do and the impact they have on lives. What do you do? Are you good? What are you really good at? Try to find your calling in life, your vocation. Take a good look at the natural talents you have. You see, legends come in all shapes and sizes. Do you make people laugh? Perhaps you've got a calling in comedy. Are you good at lacrosse? Maybe your future lies in sports. Now, don't limit your idea of a legend to famous people. You see, teachers and doctors, religious figures and volunteers and others live on too because of how they shape the lives of other people. You might try also compiling a list, putting a list together. Think hard and put down skills you have, but also personal qualities. You might be good at math or languages, for instance, but also patient or able to handle stressful situations. But you have to really first identify your talents. Here's step number 2. Consider your values. Consider your values. You see, becoming a legend is about a calling, something that you do memorably, like no one else. You see, something you do because it makes you fulfilled and whole. To find out what your calling is, you should also try to take stock of your values in life. So, for example, you see, values are what we stand for and what guides our decisions. You might value creativity more than making money, for example. Competition could be important. Or you might want to feel like you're helping society. You see, legends usually stand for something. You see, for example, Mother Teresa gave her life to the poor. Michael Jordan made competition his highest value and became a great basketball player. And we know that Kobe Bryant did the same thing. You might have a personal legend in mind who stood for something too. Think of 2 people that you respect. What do you admire about them? What qualities do they have that you want? The answers will reflect your values. You see, think as well about a moment in your life when you felt really satisfied. What made you feel that way? You see, this too will reflect your values. You might want to try writing these down, alongside with your talents. Do you see any type of connection between the 2 lists? Okay? So you really, number 1, what do we say? To find your calling, you need to identify your talents and you need to consider your values, right? Now, here's the third step in really finding your calling. You want to look for an overlap, between your talents and calling. You see, a calling isn't a job. It's something you would do in your spare time or without getting paid for it. You won't necessarily like it all the time, but it drives you. The key is to find a niche where your talents and your values come together. You see, some people think that following your passion is bad advice. It's true that your calling might not be well paid or it might be stressful. If your aim is really to be a legend, however, a true calling is an end in itself. You see, legends are not usually weekend warriors, as I would like to call it. We don't remember people who lived out their passion as a hobby. We remember the ones who devoted themselves to a cause and made sacrifices for their chosen calling. It's about sacrifice. We may not always want to do it, but we do it anyway because it's something that's just a part of us. It's who we are. So look for that overlap between talents and values. So you want to, in order to be legendary, you got to find a calling, number one. And part two, you need to follow your vocation. Okay, how do you do this? Embrace your niche. To follow your vocation, you have to embrace your niche. You see, becoming a legend is about finding your calling and making an impact on other people's lives. That's why we love, of course, that second part of the mission for Leadership TKO. We want you to be able to enhance not just, of course, your influence, but your impact. Okay, we want you to impact the lives of more and more people. You see, where you end up might surprise you. Your niche might be a profession, right? It might be the role that you play at home as a mother, a father, a sibling, a child, right? Embrace it. Legends try to be the best in their chosen field. Let me ask you a question. Do you want to make a difference in the world? Are you patient and able to deal with stress? Maybe your place in medicine or mental health, maybe that's where your vocation is. Maybe it is as a war correspondent or volunteer for an aid organization or something. You see, some people are good at giving others guidance. Your calling might be as a counselor or a social worker. Maybe you've decided that you want fame and fortune. Maybe that's something, that's okay. Aim high, whether it be as an athlete, an investment banker, or even a hedge fund manager, whatever it is that you want to be. You see, caregivers are also legends too. Okay, dads and moms and grandparents, aunts and uncles, they all live on for their devotion. Okay, so embrace your niche in order to follow your vocation. But you also need to, you find role models, okay? You find role models that you follow. That's another important part of following your vocation. Now, following and connecting with role models, they could be people that you admire, like a skilled surgeon or your favorite professor for those who are students out there. You might single out certain qualities that you like, like your local pastor's generosity or your dad's selflessness. How about that? You see, models will help you grow into your role and to grow as a person. You see, even legends have sources of inspiration. You see, Steve Jobs idolized inventors like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. You see, the tennis star Eugene Bouchard looked up to another legend, Maria Sharapova. Okay? Be willing to learn and grow. Legends are not always humble, but they are willing to grow and get better at what they do. Be open to others, learn from them. Okay, emulate their strengths, or I should say, admire and try to, of course, develop and identify your own strengths. Okay, and you can work at it so much so to the point where you surpass them. All right. So in following your vocation, you also need to develop a positive outlook. You need to develop a positive outlook. Have you ever known a legend with a defeatist attitude? No, absolutely not. They became legends by believing in their calling and by not giving up, no matter what the odds. Can you imagine a social justice hero giving up hope in the future? Can you imagine a great athlete, even like Kobe Bryant, right? Doubting his ability to win the big game? Can you imagine that? You see, legends fill us with hope. Whether it is your childhood sports hero or a great scientist or a spiritual mentor, you look up to them with awe and even inspiration too. So try to be resilient. Think of failure as an opportunity, a chance to learn and to grow and become stronger in your profession. Most successful people and legends also experience failure as well. Now, here is this third point I think is really, really important to really becoming a legend. You need to serve a greater good. Okay? Serve a greater good. So how do we do that? How do we serve a greater good? Number one, here's my first point about this. Stop worrying about what other people think. Okay, stop worrying about what other people think. You see, part of becoming a legend is in the mind. Legends are confident, they're cool, they have a certain I don't care what you think attitude. This doesn't mean that they are self absorbed or arrogant, but it does mean that they believe in their calling. Now, don't fear social judgment for your calling or even your convictions. Okay, the big question, I asked a lot of people, does your family think you're weird because you want to work, with doctors in some other country? What's more important? What's more important? I want you to answer this question. Their opinion or walking and operating in your profession? What's more important? Now, remember that some of the biggest legends of all time, they actually did some unconventional things. All right? Very unconventional. So I just want you to keep that in mind as well. So not only, that you need to serve a greater good, right? And not care about what other people think, you need to start living for the sake of serving others. You see, you have to try to put others first in your life. Be generous, be thoughtful, and live out your calling to serve others. The more you impact people's lives, the more likely you are going to be remembered by them and become a legend. So, for example, if you're a doctor, you can live for others by cultivating a great bedside manner, right? If you're a lawyer might become legendary because she chose to work as a court-appointed defense attorney and serve the underprivileged, for example, right? How about teachers out there? Teachers become legendary because, their time and the effort that they take to ensure that students learn and grow. So you can even do this at your home. Whether it's reading to a little sibling, working hard to support your family, or caring for your elderly relatives. You will be living for others and you will be remembered. So serve a greater good. And do not forget this last point. Give back and give freely. Give back and give freely. Whatever your calling is, give freely of it. Share your talent, your advice, your time, or your knowledge. People will be more likely to remember you because you've made a difference in the lives of other people. For example, tell jokes freely if you're a comedian and bring joy to others. Give a charity concert if you are a musician, or if you're a scientist, for example, give public lectures about your work. Do you have a spiritual vocation? That's a question I want to ask. Okay. Be open to helping people who ask for your guidance, right? Consider becoming a mentor. And that's something that I've chosen to be a part of my profession. I call myself a wealth mentor, helping, those leaders out there who truly want to become financially independent and create generational wealth. And of course, they want to leverage their voice to make an impact on the lives of other people as well. So by becoming a mentor, I give of my time and my know-how. All right. And this is how it would also allow me to pass my calling on as well. So for example, if my kids have a desire to mentor in the area of helping people to become financially independent, they can do the same thing. And so these are some basic things that I took note of that's going to really help you to become a legend. I might expound on these a bit more later on this week during the video portions of this night show. But I felt the need to really begin and provide these nuggets tonight, especially with the news that we've heard of regarding the late Kobe Bryant. And so as you remember his life and the amazing things that he was able to accomplish, I want you to think about what your calling is and how you desire to become a legend. You can be a living legend. Take note of these steps. Begin to apply these to your lives. Share this with other people as well. Now, if something resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Please provide your thoughts below as you listen to the replay. And remember, we're going to be back here for the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. We're going to be back tomorrow night, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so for those of you who desire to leave a financial inheritance to your children and your children's children, You want to become a legend in that particular manner. That's something that my husband and I, we're doing. We started this about 3 years ago. We connected with an amazing team of people called Wealth Builders Worldwide. And it's through this team that is helping us to reach more people and helping us to impact the lives of thousands of people around the world. I invite you that if you do desire to establish financial independence for yourself and create generational wealth, get back with me or the person that may have shared this stream with you. Ask us how you can get your very own free gold savings account so that you can get on that fast track to financial independence. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the show tonight. It's been an honor. And so until the next time that you and I come together again, I do encourage you to think, to speak, and to live leadership. Good night, everyone, and God bless.